This is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you from beautiful Florida. And today our question comes to us from Layla Florane. And Layla has this question: what is my opinion of the idea of earth angels as taught by Doreen Virtue? And Layla has asked this question a number of times, and I've resisted answering it. And it's interesting, this Monday I had a question in my Monday night chat room about what kinds of questions I might not find acceptable for the vlog, and the answer is, I really find pretty much all questions acceptable, but it is true that there are some I like more than others. And the ones I like are the ones that I can give good information on and expand people's ideas about, and the ones I really don't are the ones where I'm basically going to say, well, I don't buy that. And I'm afraid this one kind of comes under that heading. The idea of earth angels is this. It's the idea that beings from higher realms incarnate into this world at this time to help us along. And Doreen writes about incarnated angels, incarnated elementals, incarnated sorcerers and wizards, and so forth. And also about the idea of walk-ins, which is where a different spirit will displace the original spirit of a given life and then carry on that life. And all of these ideas basically run counter to my understanding of incarnation. My understanding of the nature of incarnation is that it's incremental. We start slowly, we build, we constantly add skill, pretty much like life itself. And in general, we don't go backward. Now, we may go in circles, and if you look at life, you'll notice people often go in circles. But generally speaking, I think in incarnation we do not go backward, at least not far backward. We may sometimes slip back a little bit, but I don't think we slip back for as much as, say, an angel to a human, if in fact I'm assuming that she's speaking of a Judeo-Christian idea of an angel as opposed to a spirit guide. So, I basically am not in agreement with this idea. It isn't that I don't think that a more advanced spirit would try to help us, and I think that there probably are more advanced spirits trying to help us. Certainly, I'm a great believer in spirit guides and the ancestors, but the help that they give is through advice, not through incarnation in more limited forms. I do think it is possible for a more advanced spirit to express itself through more limited forms, but not really through incarnation. And I've written about this in, I believe, the Third Degree book, where we talk about how that can be done. But it's not a matter of incarnation. And on the subject of walk-ins, I really do not believe that the body and the soul are separate things that are just randomly connected. I believe that the body is an emanation of the soul, and that life is also an emanation of the soul. Therefore, you can't just be trading it around that way. I do think it's possible to change your point of consciousness within the same soul, and the soul is very complex. But that isn't really what the idea of walk-ins is about. And I think that the body and the soul just are not that disconnected. It's not as simple as going out and getting in a new car. The car is not an emanation of you. The body is. So I really am not in agreement with her teachings on these subjects as I understand them. Having said that, however, I do not like to be what my friend Marianne Kay calls a reality bigot. And a reality bigot is a person who holds minority or unusual metaphysical views that are not in vogue in the wider society, but is very rigid about any views that contradict their own and dismiss them as silly. And for better or worse, you see this a lot in the metaphysical community. People who hold ideas that other people consider silly, but can be very dismissive of still other people's ideas that they consider silly. So I don't really like to do that, and I don't feel that I'm doing that here. So what I would say is that I'm sure that Doreen Virtue has reasons for the beliefs she holds, and those reasons may be a legitimate phenomena that I would interpret differently than she has. So I'm not saying there's not necessarily anything there, but the way that she's interpreted it runs against everything that I believe about incarnation. It's also worth saying I could be wrong. She could be right. And I always remember that this is a possibility, and I recommend that everyone always remember it in dealing with everything in life, because you can in fact be wrong. But from the point of view that I hold, I would have to reject the idea, though your mileage may vary, and you're certainly allowed to do that. So those would be my thoughts on the subject. I hope you find them helpful, and until next time, may you blessed be. Ooh.
Hello, my name is Cher Davis, and I'm greeting you from Jacksonville, Florida. Please join me as I lift my prayer to the God and Goddess. I pray for peace. I pray for love. I pray for stability. I pray for the nation where I live. I pray for the world. So mote it be.